Hello everyone, and welcome to the first complete guide for Dissidia Final Fantasy NT on LongTimeGaming. I hope you guys are as excited as I am for this game. I can't wait to finish making guides for the full character roster. And with that, let us begin. Today's guide will be for none other than the Crown Prince and rightful heir to the throne of Lucius, Noctis. Noctis is an assassin class character, and with the power of kings, he calls forth his arsenal of royal arms for whatever situation he so desires. Starting with his neutral bravery attack, be it his grounded or aerial version, they're pretty identical. Triple slice on the ground and aerial assault in the air is a 3-slash attack with Noctis' one-handed sword. With all of Noctis' bravery attacks, if you do not connect the first hit, you will not be able to continue the combo. His neutral bravery attacks come out fairly quickly, covers a fair distance, and does the most bravery damage out of all of his abilities. Noctis' forward bravery is his forward gap closing skill. With reckless abandon on the ground and noble charge in the air, Noctis summons his lance and thrusts forward into his enemy, following up with a second poke to send his target flying either far away or into a wall rush. These attacks have a bit of a startup and lag towards the end. It is easier for the enemy to punish a missed attack compared to your neutral bravery attacks, but the additional reach of your charge can make up for it. I wouldn't recommend to use this if your opponent is above or below you, as Noctis has better moves to combat his enemies vertically. Let this be your horizontal reach attack. Both versions of his forward bravery have super armor. Super armor is a term used when during the animation of an attack, opponent's bravery moves won't flinch your character, causing you to stop your attack, making it great for advancing on your targets. HP attacks will always interrupt your character if they connect. Noctis' grounded back bravery attack is Cumbersome Swing. Noctis summons his greatsword with a strong up slash before swinging it down with all of his might. This is your anti-air move while on the ground. If you happen to be grounded and the enemy is just slightly above you, this is your best option, as the first swing upwards has a slight reach. This move comes out fairly quickly, but lacks forward movement, so stick to your forward bravery attacks if the enemy is far ahead of you. Dagger Toss is Noctis' dash attack on the ground. Noctis reaches deep into his pockets to find some daggers to throw at his opponent. This is his only range attack that does not bring Noctis in front of his opponent. It has a long charge-up time, and the daggers honestly don't go that far. I would consider this to be Noctis' weakest attack in his arsenal, and is too slow and leaves Noctis open for counterplay. Noctis' backwards aerial bravery is Heavy Hand. Noctis draws his greatsword and plummets to the ground, bringing everything with him, causing a shockwave where he landed. This is Noctis' anti-ground technique. It has a fast startup and quick fall, so it's a great move to use while you're floating on top of some unsuspecting enemies. There is a bit of landing lag at the end, so be careful not to miss, as you can get easily punished if your target did not connect with your greatsword. Noctis' aerial dash attack is Bird of Prey. Noctis brings out his trusty blades again, but instead of throwing them like the ground, he charges towards his enemy with a flurry of strikes. While slicing towards his target, Noctis gains super armor during this attack, making it a great advancement against marksmen. Noctis' HP attacks are Warp Strike, Shooting Star, Steel Pirouette, and Plunge. With Warp Strike, Noctis throws his sword in front of him and warps to its location to follow up with a 2-strike attack. If you want to follow up your wall rushes with an HP attack, this is the one for you. It comes out relatively quickly, and Noctis gains super armor while in the animation, which makes it a solid choice. Though if you miss, the tracking is poor, and the lag at the end can lead to punishment, so I would stick to throwing your sword through marksman spells or connecting from a wall rush. The HP attack Shooting Star is where Noctis throws a spear into the air and warps to its location, plunging down through the sky, hitting anything in its way. The animation for Shooting Star is too slow to follow up with a wall rush, but it gains the benefit of having a longer range both vertically and horizontally, as well as being AoE, so you can catch multiple enemies with this attack if they're clustered together. Steel Pirouette is where Noctis throws his greatsword at his target and warps to its location, then uses the force of the throw to help deliver a crushing blow. You can hold the HP attack button to increase the range of Steel Pirouette. If Noctis wall rushes an opponent, you can connect to this HP attack as long as you don't charge it. If you read your opponent's dodge correctly, you can punish them for dodging too early by taking advantage of their recovery frames. Noctis' final HP attack is Plunge. Noctis tosses his daggers in a direction, then warps to them to follow up with a dual-wielded cross slash. You can control where Noctis throws his daggers with the left analog stick, but only on a flat plane, so holding forwards or backwards will not teleport Noctis up or downwards. but his follow-up attack will slightly chase an opponent above or below you. This is probably Noctis' least straightforward HP attack, as you can really play around with the initial warp to position yourself correctly around potential incoming attacks. Now for Noctis' EX skill Warp. This is what's going to separate the good Noctises from the greats. Pressing triangle warps Noctis to his sword, repositioning him to a more strategic position. At least that's the plan. You can also hold down triangle to charge warp to increase its range, and aim your sword angle with the left stick instead of just throwing it in front of you. Warp works on a charge-based system. At the start of the fight, you automatically start with 1 charge of warp, and can hold up to a total of 3, with 1 recharging every 35 seconds. After Noctis uses warp, he will have a 2-second window to land a bravery attack on an enemy in order to refill a large portion of his warp meter. Even if his sword makes contact with the enemy, Noctis will always move to a set amount of distance depending on how much he charged his warp. You cannot cancel into an HP attack after a warp, only another warp or a bravery attack. Noctis' hidden passive is summoning his Armiger Arsenal. Armiger Arsenal is summoned when Noctis is low on health. While Armiger is active, it will deal a small amount of additional bravery damage to all of Noctis' bravery attacks. Once Armiger Arsenal is activated, only being incapacitated will turn it off. So even if you get healed, your arsenal will still be by your side. And that concludes the Noctis' breakdown for Dissidia Final Fantasy NT. If you enjoyed this video or found it useful, don't forget to leave a like, and if you want to see more of my character guides, please subscribe. The link to my Discord is in the description if you want to play some games. These guides are taking a bit longer than I honestly expected, but I will continue chipping away at the full roster of Final Fantasy heroes and villains as fast as I can now that global release is here. See you guys around!